Two of the biggest podcasters in the world ended up in Bali while I was here building my business. Stephen Bartlett and Chris Williamson. I got to learn from both of them in person. And here's what I didn't expect. Stephen Bartlett, he taught me how to make decisions. Chris Williamson taught me about being honest of who is making those decisions. Here's the breakdown. These two encounters happened months apart from each other. Stephen was here when things were good. I was building, the energy was right, and being in the room where he was speaking felt as a confirmation of being on the right path. Chris was here when everything was slowly falling apart. An income that went dropping down, a relationship that ended, and a potential lawsuit hanging above my head. At that point, I was this close to borrowing money from my parents to keep my head afloat. I was sitting in that room full of high achievers while I was carrying all my private stuff in my backpack. And the gap between those two encounters is actually what makes this entire comparison interesting. Because in a way, it's the same type of lessons delivered at completely different points within your journey. And because you are at completely different points, the lessons land different. Steven's lessons felt like fuel when I was moving forward, and Chris's lessons felt like a mirror when I felt broken. Let's start with Steven and the decision-making framework that I kept coming back to when things were slowly falling apart. Lesson 1. The 51% framework. I was sitting in a room watching Steven get interviewed and taking questions from the audience. And he said something about decision-making that I haven't stopped thinking about since. Most people wait for certainty before they move. They want 100% of the information before they make the call. Steven said you only need 51%. And the 3 questions that you can ask yourself to filter: 1. Is there something I can do about this? 2. Is there something else I could do instead? 3. Is it worth the time, energy, and effort? If the answers to those 3 questions point you forward, you move with 51% certainty, not 100. Because here's the truth that cracked something open for me. Certainty doesn't show up before the jump. It shows up as you jump. Through actions, through movement, through feedback and data you couldn't have gotten standing still. When everything went to zero for me 3 months ago, I kept coming back to this framework. My relationship was falling apart and I did not know if I should fight it or let it go. I honestly ran through the 3 questions once I was in the gym. Is there something I can do about it? Possibly. Is it worth the time, energy, and emotional costs? Honestly, no. 51% was enough to make the call. And I would add 1 question to Steven's framework from my own experience, and that helped me a lot moving forward as well. Is this decision aligned with my values and standards I want to hold myself to? Because that's the filter underneath all the other filters. Lesson 2. Dependence. The second thing Steven said that completely dismantled a myth I've been carrying. He said it's okay to depend on people. This idea that perfect independence is the best you can ever had is the biggest lie we've been ever sold. Build alone, grind in silence, automate everything so you don't need to do it anymore, or you don't need anyone. Steven broke it down into 5 principles to avoid a burnout, and almost all of them came back to 1 word: dependence. Autonomy, sense of forward motion, being challenged, working with people you love, control over how you work. Those are the 5.
What mattered was these underlying 5 principles, which is autonomy, control, sense of forward motion. Actually feeling challenged is in there as well. And this is why video games get increasingly more difficult, because if they didn't, you would lose psychological motivation and you wouldn't get into a flow state. So it needs to be incrementally challenging, working with people you love and you like, and that's supportive, which insulates you, a sense of control, and sense of forward motion.
And the one I sat with longest was working with people you love, because I have that, and I don't thank the universe enough for it. Michael, my business partner, who is here with me in Bali right now, I learn from him every single day, and I genuinely have an amazing time with him. Fabio, my other business partner and best friend, is in South America right now, and we still call almost every single day, helping each other through the business and through personal stuff. Equally, those 2 people were one of the reasons I did not completely fall apart when everything went to zero. Because I had people I could have counted on. Not because they fixed the entire situation, just because they were there. That's what dependence actually looks like. Not weakness, not infrastructure, but people who help you forward. Now, Chris Williamson. And the lesson that forced me to look at something about myself I've been avoiding for a very long time. Lesson 1, the mask. Chris said something in his talk that I've been sitting with ever since. What is praised in public is what you pay for in private. The traits that make you successful in business are most often the exact same traits that work against you in your personal life. I knew it was true when he said it, but it took a series of conversations with coaches here in Bali, and yeah, I know it's a cliche, for me to actually see it clearly in my own situation. What they helped me uncover is that I mainly was wearing two masks. The performer, the version of me that connects quickly, fits into groups, reads the rooms, knows how to make people feel good, how to entertain. This mask was helping me close deals, build rapport, make friends fast in new cities, but is also working against me in a way. That things were less deep, more surface level, and were not really connected to me as a person, but connected to the performance, the mask that I was holding up to. And then we have the second mask, the Rationalizer. The version of me that processes everything through frameworks, strategies, analytics, structures, always solving problems. This mask serves me in business every single day. But here's what's underneath it. Both of them are fueled by a deep sense of not feeling enough. The performer shows up because part of me doesn't trust that who I am is actually enough to be fully accepted. The Rationalizer shows up because feeling things without taking control over them feels like I'm losing it, and I want to have control. So then I rationalize it through frameworks, analytics, you name it. It's my way of becoming more distant from my emotions. And these are things that I'm working on right now within myself, because I do believe that the closer you are to yourself, the better you will do in business. And I'll be honest, it's not easy. It's quite hard. Last Saturday at the Bali Brotherhood, I fucking cried my eyes out for over this because of all the things I've been suppressing through those masks. All of it just came out in a room full of men. And also, in all honesty, that's the most grounded I felt in months after working my ass off. Another short example is accepting compliments. Genuinely accepting them. Not deflecting, not immediately pulling one of those masks forward to redirect the attention. Letting people actually see me. That's the private cost of what gets praised in public. The analytical brain is hard to turn off when someone is genuinely trying to love you. Lesson 2. Channel your problems. Chris, its other insight that connected directly to the masks was this. You have two types of brains. A problem-solving brain or a brain that doesn't care about problems at all. Entrepreneurs have a problem-solving brain. That's why they're in business. It's what drives them, but it's also what stops them from being present. The trick is not to stop solving problems, because it's just how you're wired. You can't switch it off. The trick is to channel which problems you choose to solve, because your brain will not stop. So give it the right problems to work on. If you don't, you start solving problems that don't need solving, or spiral over nothing, which I still do sometimes when I don't consciously direct my focus towards things. For me, this means put the agency problems in the co-working hours. Luckily, that's where I spend 70% of my time. Put the content strategy within the hours that I'm here in the recording studio. And when you're with people, don't be on your phone, but actually try to connect with them. And there's one more thing that Steven said that ties both Chris and Steven together perfectly. Increase your rate of failure and experimentation. In a world where everything is changing faster than any book or talk can keep up with, the only answer is to move faster, move forward, and collect data. Steven put it like this. The tactics he's been sharing are already outdated. The only thing worth teaching is principles. Fishing rods, not fish. Because a fish feeds you once. A fishing rod feeds you for life. And that connects directly to what Chris said. The regret of not trying to achieve something will weigh heavier than the discomfort of actually trying and failing. So the overlap between both of them is quite simple. Move, fail, learn, move again. Here is how I would summarize them if you're trying to figure out which one of the two you need to pay attention to. Steven is more commercial and structured. He teaches you how to navigate the mechanics of building, decisions, systems, people, momentum. Chris is more genuine and goes deeper into self-development. He is less interested in how to build and more interested in who is building it. They agree on one thing completely. Growth is the only direction worth moving to. Where they differ is in the starting point. Steven says move with 51% certainty and figure it out along the way through actions. Chris is saying make sure that the person that's taking the actions is actually showing up as themselves, not a version of that person just performing competence. points. Both are right, and they need each other. And here's also where I push back on both of them. I think it's okay to be lost in your 20s. I think it's okay to be broken in your 20s. I think it's okay to outwork your 20s and use what's happening as fuel before you start fixing. Because the most interesting thing about Steven and Chris isn't the frameworks they teach. It's what they had to go through before they had the frameworks. You learn the most by doing, not by analyzing. The frameworks come in hindsight. After enough failures, you can always connect the dots. So take the lessons, but don't wait until you process them perfectly before you move. Just move. The line from Steven I think about at least once a week is make the decisions with 51% of the knowledge that you have. The line from Chris that I think about once a week, what's praised in public is what you pay for in private. One teaches you how to make better decisions. The other one teaches you to be honest of who's making those decisions. Use both and subscribe to this channel to follow my own full journey. The building, the lessons, the honest parts in between. And if you like this video, I'm 100% certain that you love this video right here. You will love it. Now, as always, visionaries, take action, and I see you in the next one. Ciao.